the large body moved into sight, I saw brown, leathery skin, rough like alligator hide, with ivory white horns sticking out from chest, arms, and legs. The head was inhumanly huge, with maddened slits of red for eyes. It was a monster. It was a demon.
You thought an imp was a cute little dude in a red suit with a pitchfork. Where did these brown bastards come from? They heave balls of fire down your throat and take several bullets to die. It's time to find a weapon better than that pistol if you're going to face more than one of these sobs.
An imp, or diablotin from European mythology, is originally a creature similar to a fairy or demon, often described in folklore as mischievous and troublesome, rather than truly dangerous. This mythological being is present in all Doom games, evolving significantly from its initial depiction to more recent entries. Initially called demon troops in the Doom Bible, it was described as smaller, flying demons, possibly inspiring the gargoyles in Heretic. Doom depicts the imp as a humanoid, brown, spiked being with a muscular build. They serve as the backbone of the Hellspawn. They move slowly and attack from a distance with their fireballs or engage in quick melee strikes. Despite their menacing appearance, they are relatively easy to kill with a mere 60 hit points, often falling to a single shotgun blast from both close and far ranges. The imp isn't particularly dangerous, even in groups, but can become a nuisance when combined with other demons. The pistol isn't the best weapon against them, but it can suffice if necessary. Considering how easily they can be defeated, it's wise to conserve rare ammunition like plasma cells for tougher situations. However, don't hesitate to use your rocket launcher on large groups to dispatch them quickly. The chainsaw can be effective against isolated imps, but it's risky to use in large encounters as they can easily surround and scratch you to death. An interesting tidbit: the death sounds of the imp and former humans are actually stock sound bites of a camel's grunt from the 1980s, used in various movies and series, but most memorably for me, in Age of Empires 2. In Doom 64, the imp retains its classic appearance, but is joined by a formidable new variant called the Nightmare Imp. This creature moves at double the speed of the standard imp, hurling deadly purple fireballs that also travel twice as fast. The RPG version also introduces variations with the Impling and Implord. Doom 3 brought significant changes, not only altering its appearance, but also making it far more aggressive and agile than its predecessor. With 512 encountered, it is by far the most common enemy in the game. With 10 eyes inspired by tarantulas, it can now move on walls and ceilings, attack quickly in melee, and has the bad habit of hiding and pouncing on its victims. They are also more resilient with 130 hit points and need to be approached differently than their classic counterparts. Forget trying to snipe it from afar with the shotgun. Using the machine gun is a good idea if they are distant. They now tend to appear after animation sequences, teleporting, climbing, or screeching at you before attacking. It takes 2 or 3 seconds to finish, giving you a brief time to get right in its face. While a point-blank shot with a shotgun usually gets rid of it, the weapon's widespread sometimes fails to kill, even up close. In hell, they appear charred and scorched, reflecting their prolonged exposure to the infernal environment. Resurrection of Evil introduces a new way of dispatching them with the grabber. When they shoot their fireball, you can grab it and throw it back, killing them in one shot. Surprisingly, they appear only 52 times in the expansion, explained by the introduction of the Vulgars, who appear 167 times, even surpassing the zombie with 109 encounters, making them the most commonly faced monster in the expansion. It's also interesting to note that the model, that looks very similar to the xenomorph in Alien, was originally planned to be the Archvile in Doom 3, which would have walked on 2 legs instead of 4. In the latest iterations, the Imp aligns more closely with its mythological roots, exhibiting smaller, swift and pesky behaviors with agile movement. The game explains the Imp's fireball attacks as powered by hell energy, a volatile force composed of tortured souls. In Doom 3, their attacks are depicted as plasma, with scientists still puzzled by their ability to generate it.
And control cohesive plasma masses.
The Ancient Gods. Part 2 introduces a new iteration, the Stone Imp. Remember all the imps you killed previously? Well, they have been brought back to life with flesh of stone. They behave similarly to their normal counterparts, except for a new ability that allows them to set themselves aflame and launch at you, disturbing your vision upon impact. They take almost no damage from most weapons except the combat shotgun in full auto mode, the micro missiles mod, and the Sentinel hammer. The Imp will make yet another return in Doom, the Dark Ages. While we didn't get to see much, it seems it will feature a more classic design like the earlier games. It was briefly shown in 2 shots, one where it was slowly moving in a similar posture like the Imp in Doom 1 or 2. The other shot is also brief but shows it about to create a green projectile, this time using both hands like in Doom 64, instead of just its right hand as in Doom 1 or 2. It was shown alone, leaving us to wonder if they will be encountered more like the ones in Doom 3, or if this was perhaps just a way to showcase it, and they will actually be encountered in groups like the classic ones.
Hope he's good and scared. Hope he knows the fires are stoked and that Satan's imps are waiting.
Dumb, tough, flies, on fire. Enough said.
Considered the lowest of the demons, the Lost Soul appear in all Doom versions, encountered 1,299 times in the classic games. Their numbers aren't truly depicted by their individual encounters, as each pain elemental spawns them in high quantity. They often appear in groups, floating at a distance before suddenly rushing toward you. Though not very big or threatening, their 100 hit points make them more resilient than possessed soldiers or imps, needing a few shotgun blasts to get rid of. Unlike other monsters, they are completely silent when alerted, giving them an element of surprise if they are unnoticed. Despite being quick and annoying, they have a 100% chance of being stunned when shot, making the pistol an effective weapon against them. In the pre-release versions of Doom, they were portrayed as bleached, non-flaming silver demon skulls and used a psychic attack, causing instantaneous and unavoidable damage. Originally, Lost Souls were supposed to work similar to the Scrag in Quake 1, floating and attacking from a distance. However, Adrian Carmack, one of the 4 founders of id Software, introduced the idea of the skulls charging at players like missiles, which was kept for the final game. In Doom 64, the Lost Souls became slightly transparent due to their mutation, making them faster and more aggressive, but easier to kill with only 60 hit points. The RPG versions introduced the Phantom and Nightmare variations, which can move and attack by biting 3 times within the same turn. Doom 3 saw a significant redesign, with Lost Souls losing their horns and gaining mechanical parts. The game also depicted their creation in the infamous Teresa Chassel scene. It's worth noting that while it first seems that the head was Teresa's, it most likely looks as if it emerged from hers. Disturbing nonetheless. Despite their new look, they behave similarly to the classic version but with reduced health, making the pistol a great choice to use against them. Their smaller size makes them harder to hit, especially when they are charging. The Resurrection of Evil and the Lost Mission replace Lost Souls with the Forgotten One, which more closely resembles their classic rendition. They are also much easier to kill, with the grabber able to get rid of them in one shot. The 2016 version returned to its roots in appearance, but significantly changed behavior, acting more like missiles that charge and explode upon impact. Their sound is also more horrific, giving you chills each time you hear them. The lore explains that these demons wander aimlessly within Hell's temples, searching for a host to inhabit. When they find a victim, they converge and explode with a blast of hell energy. Lesser-willed beings weakened by the explosion become possessed, with the host's soul becoming lost in turn. This behavior brings us back to the invasion scene in Doom 3, where UAC employees can be seen getting possessed by soul grabbers, which also try but fail to possess the Marine. In Eternal, the lost soul is encountered less frequently on its own, more often associated with the Pain Elemental. The game also adds to the lore, explaining that mortals in Hell are forced to work until they become unable to continue. They are then sent to pits to have their souls extracted. Some lucky souls who manage to escape take the form of lost souls, wandering aimlessly, looking for any opportunity to end their suffering in death.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
The only good thing about Fatso is that he's a nice wide target. Good thing because it takes a lot of hits to puncture him. He pumps out fireballs like there was no tomorrow.
With a health pool of 600 hit points, it literally acts like a tank. Slow, resistant, and powerful, its arms replaced by massive flame cannon, powered by fuel container grafted onto its back. It fires 3 volleys of twin fireballs that deal between 8 to 64 damage per shot, for a maximum of 384 damage. You will at first be confused by its chaotic fire, but will quickly learn its pattern to move in response, though trying to find cover or stay as far as possible is your best bet. Once it begins its attack, it continues to fire all 3 bursts, even if the target moves out of sight, making it useful for initiating monster infighting. Despite being resistant, they have a low pain chance, making them more or less vulnerable to rapid-fire weapons like the chain gun or plasma rifle. But stay on your guard and away, as if they resist the pain, their attack can take you by surprise, with one hit able to take down your health quickly. The Doom RPG includes 2 additional versions, the Behemoth and the Druge. In Doom 64, the Mancubus is somehow less of a threat. Its fireballs are now shot in straightforward volleys, making them easier to anticipate and dodge them. This is countered by the environment in which you encounter them, often placing you in close spaces with fewer escape routes. They first appear in Hell, in a similar setting than the Doom 2 iconic Map 7 Dead Simple, this time without the Arachnotrons present, but with a shit ton of Hell Knights, Barons and Pain Elementals. The Doom 3 version underwent significant changes with its health boosted to 1000 hit points. It is more powerful, but encountered only 11 times in 2 levels, acting more as a mini-boss than a recurrent enemy. While statistically more dangerous, its threat level is, in my opinion, lower than all other versions. They are often alone or in pairs, encountered in places with lots of cover, and their slow movement speed makes it easy to get out of their sight and kill them from afar. Its projectiles are slower and deal massive damage, and can now perform a devastating melee attack if you get too close. We can notice that unlike other demons in hell with charred skin, the Mancubus retains its pale appearance. I was going through the official Prima guide and noticed something quite interesting. For context, the book was available the 1st of January 2004, 8 months before the game would release. In the recycling sector too, the Mancubus encounter is described as follows. This grotesquely obese demon has 2 cannons for arms. He moves slowly, but his blasts are phenomenally powerful. Here's the interesting part. To make matters worse, every second that you spend on the floor of the level damages you. That's interesting. The damaging floor was, of course, not kept in the final version, meaning that it was most likely removed in those 8 months, or a bit before as a result of playtesting and perhaps deemed too difficult. It would have made without a doubt the encounter more challenging, but also made the toxic gas threat that Betruga released to kill you feel a bit more present through the level. Although not kept, you can in a way get to experience this version of the encounter if you play the Nightmare version of the game. Resurrection of Evil also make use of the massive demon, again in Hell and in the sewer level. In the 2016 version, the Mancubus appears alongside its green cyber counterpart. Now, explaining its existence being the byproduct of UAC experimentation, it behaves similarly to the classic version, but has additional abilities. You don't want to get close to them as they will use their flamethrower. Ignore this warning, and they'll unleash their venting gas to push you away, dealing massive amount of damage in the process. They can also use their cannon to jump between platforms, removing the high ground advantage you had before. The Eternal version closely resembles the classic design, but has a higher rate of fire and can now shoot the ground to surround itself with napalm, which deal heavy damage. Its behaviors are also a bit different, trying to close in on the player, putting pressure on him to move or to be in range of its most devastating attacks. They were given a weak point to exploit by destroying their cannons, removing their flamethrower attack and making their normal attack weaker. The Dark Ages will bring the Mancubus back with a look similar to Eternal, its skin color changing to the one from Doom 3 and with a larger fuel tank, almost resembling a backpack. However, its attack seems reminiscent of the classic version, shooting large projectiles that move slowly in patterns and likely deal significant damage if they hit.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. Excuse me. Chili.